You've got it tuned to the Midday Show, listener-powered radio, 90.3 FM in Seattle, online round the world. And it always brightens our day to have Tegan and Sara live in studio, and it's been far too long. Welcome back.
Thank you for having us.
It's so great to have you. Why don't you kick it off with a couple songs, and then we'll catch up.
Absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Between us in my bed, repeat the words that I know we both said. Relax into the need, we get so comfortable. Remember when I was so strange and likable. I just want back in your head. I just want back in your head. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray. When I get a little scared, when I get a little scared, when I get a little, when I jerk away from holding hands with you. I know this habit's hurt important parts of you. Remember when I'm sweet and unexplainable. Nothing like this person unlovable. I just want back in your head. I just want back in your head. I'm not unfaithful, but I stray. When I get a little scared, when I get a little scared, when I get a little scared, when I get a little run, run, I just want back in your head. I just want back in your head. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray.
Tegan and Sara live on KEXP. Sounds wonderful. And tonight, playing at the Neptune Theater here in Seattle. What a treat to have you here today.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Well, I mean, we're in the middle of this enjoying experience. We're in the middle of enjoying this experience, and we're excited to play at the Neptune.
Just fun things ahead
Yes.
every day for you. And, well, speaking of which, we'll talk more in a minute, but you have a new song that's coming out. Is that tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow it's released. Yes, Closer, which will be the first single from our upcoming record, which will be released in January, which seems like so far from now, but we're excited to at least have a single out.
It does seem far, but it will be a
I
blink
know.
of an eye. Well, how about another song? And I want to hear a little bit more about the upcoming record.
Absolutely. Awesome. This is the new single now.
All I wanna get is a little bit closer. All I wanna know is, can you come a little closer? little bit closer. Here comes a rush before we touch. Come a little closer. The doors are open, the wind is really blowing. Night sky is changing overhead. It's not just all physical. I'm a top who won't get oh so critical. So let's make things physical. I won't treat you like you're oh so typical. I won't treat you like you're oh so typical. All you think of lately is getting underneath me. All I dream of lately is how to get you underneath me. Here comes the heat before we meet a little bit closer. Here comes the spark before the dark. Come a little closer. The lights are off and the sun is finally setting. Night sky is changing overhead. It's not just all physical. I'm a type who won't get oh so critical. So let's make things physical. I won't treat you like you're all so typical. I want you close. I want you. I won't treat you like you're typical. I want you close. I want you. I won't treat you like you're typical. Here come dreams of you and me. Here come dreams. Here come dreams of you and me. Here come dreams. It's not just all physical. I'm a top who won't get oh so critical. So let's make things physical. I won't treat you like you're all so typical. I want you close. I want you. I won't treat you like you're typical. I want you close. I want you. I won't treat you like you're typical. I won't treat you like you're typical. I won't treat you like you're typical. All I wanna get is a little bit closer. All I wanna know is, can you come a little closer?
Ah, so nice. Tegan and Sara live on KEXP and a sneak peek at the new album with that song Closer. Thank you so much. That sounded great.
Thank you. I felt very nervous. I didn't even think about it until we started playing it, but I was like, oh my God, this is the first time we're playing it acoustically anywhere, ever. Like, I mean, we practiced before we got here, but I mean, for other humans who weren't the four of us, so.
Well, we're honored.
I'm so glad I didn't think about it because I was like freaking out. I was like, I'm going to throw my guitar down and run away. This is crazy. I'm losing my mind. But we made it.
It sounded great. Well, even in the acoustic format, it's got a real upbeat pop sensibility. Is that a representation of the new record as a whole or the other songs?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Sarah and I have been experimenting a lot in our last few records of like with playing with a lot more like keyboards and melodies and singing together more and like, you know, being a little more upbeat. We definitely have the somber indie rock, shoegazing, emo thing in our back catalog, so we definitely want to keep it interesting. And then the last couple of years we've been doing all these collaborations with Tiesto and Morgan Page and Theophilus London and all these different kind of very fun, upbeat acts, and I think it's rubbed off on us. So
Well, talking about collaborating with all those people, I read somewhere that you recorded this album with a number of different producers and in a number of different studio locations. I bet that keeps things fresh and interesting.
It does. I mean, like Tegan said, you know, we've covered a lot of ground in 14 years, and part of making the record fresh wasn't just
taking a different approach, aesthetically or, in terms of songwriting. We tried different things, but we really knew that one of the biggest factors was going to be working with producers that maybe wouldn't have been on our short list for like The Con or even our last record. We were definitely thinking more in our genre and
we wanted people who are going to push us.
Yeah,
basically.
we were like, that it would be really easy and comfortable and exciting to work with certain types of producers, and we decided we should push our limits and our comfort levels, and we should look at people that had done things outside of our world. And one of the producers that ended up doing 8 of the 10 tracks that made the record is Greg Kirsten, and we knew him from producing The Shins and his project The Bird and the Bee, but we also knew that he had he's worked on Lily Allen, Kylie Minogue, Pink, Kelly Clarkson, lots of really big pop stuff. And, we know that we're still Tegan and Sara, and we sort of have like this very signature sound in terms of our vocals and that sort of thing. But we knew if we got into the room with somebody like Greg Kirsten, we'd at least sort of, at least in terms of the production, we knew we were going to sort of take it into a different stratosphere. So,
what's an example of some of the specific things that he would do that you hadn't thought of that shapes the song?
Well, I mean, part of it was that, he would listen to the demos and he would pull out the things that he liked, but then that was the first 45 minutes, and then the next 7.5 hours in the studio he would just play, like just throwing down a million different ideas.
He's a very specific type of producer. Yeah, he's not just like obviously lots of different types of collaborations happen in the studio, but Greg is almost like having a band. We were sort of, instead of getting in the room with a drummer and a keyboard player and a bass player, it was like we were just in the room with a one-man virtuoso. He just would be like, he was like we would call him the wizard. Like, we would be like, it's like watching TV. He's so good at everything. And so it was like Tegan and I were in a room with 6 musicians. He really added so much. It was a tremendous experience for us too, because we're so used to doing a lot of things on the records, and sometimes we just, I guess we feel like we're under a lot of pressure, and Tegan and I would just constantly be like, it was like what we said, it was like watching tracers, because he was moving so fast, like we didn't even have time to jump in. It was wonderful.
Well, and you could throw out anything. We would just say like, oh, how about this melody line, da 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 da, and he would just be like, play it on like 9 different instruments perfectly, and I was like, oh my god, this is magic. So it was pretty amazing.
Did he end up playing on the record, and do you have a bunch of musicians on there, or is it just a few of you?
It's a lot of him.
For his tracks, it's a lot of him, but we worked with some other really amazing musicians. JMJ did 2 tracks, and he most recently did the M83 record, and he plays with Beck, and we also worked with Mike Elizondo, who's done all the Eminem records. There were some amazing musicians. They're all pretty talented, and had some great a bunch of different drummers come in and play who were all really amazing. So Sarah and I definitely left that studio experience feeling like pretty privileged and honored to have so many amazing people. You can really hear it in the record. It sounds pretty big.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to hear the record. I know you've had some wonderful recording experiences in the past, but this one sounds very unique and different. And as you say, after 14 years of playing together, it must be fun to mix it up.
It is, yeah. Each one is so unique, and we played in Vancouver last night, and I was saying to the audience that this record still came from the same place that a Tegan and Sara record always comes from, life experience, love, heartache, breakups, sitting and just like ruminating over what's happened in our lives up to this point. But definitely the studio experience was pretty wild. So
now do you still live on separate coasts?
We do, yeah. Tegan is sort of still representing the West Coast, and I'm and there's
What's
some
up,
cheering
people?
in here from the West Coast. My people on the East Coast are listening, hopefully, right now. But yes, I still spend time between Montreal and New York, but we're pretty nomadic at this point. It's pretty crazy how much, even when we're on what we would call an off cycle for the last 2 years, I think we still manage to probably do more traveling, almost as much traveling as when we're touring. So, but it's cool. We have lots of different sort of collaborative relationships and social relationships in all of those different cities now. So each place has become sort of like another home.
Well, you've always got smiles on your faces and springs in your step, so it must be a very good life.
Can you call everyone in our lives and tell them that little tidbit? Because I don't think they would share that.
You just give me your little black book. I will be glad to do that. Well, thank you again so much for stopping by. It's wonderful to have you here, and I'd love to hear a couple more songs.
Absolutely. Sweet. Yeah, maybe do you want to do, what were you going to do there?
I'm
living room?
Yeah, for
great.
living room.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to rock an oldie here for the listeners. Sarah's got to do some adjusting, though. She's putting her hair up in a
big
ponytail. You can't
glockenspiel,
see her,
so-
but she's just adjusting her dress
Go on.
and applying a little bit of makeup. This one, you know.
I'm glamming it up.
Okay.
My windows look into your living room, where I spend the afternoon on top of you. I wonder what it is that I did, make you move in across the way from me. But I hope I never figure out who broke your heart. If I do, I spend all night, you say sleep, I spend the night, lose my mind, spend the night, lose my mind. My windows look into your back room, where I spend the evening watching you get yourself clean. I wonder what it is that they left this bathroom so unclean. You're just like me. Well, I hope I never figure out who broke your heart. If I do, I'd spend all night. You say sleep, I'd spend the night, lose my mind, spend the night, lose my mind, spend all night. You say sleep, I'd spend the night, lose my mind, spend the night, lose my mind. Hope I'll never figure out who broke your heart. If I do, I hope I'll never figure out who broke your heart. If I do, I spend all night losing sleep. I'd spend the night, I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. Spend all night, losing sleep. I'd spend the night, lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. Spend all night, losing sleep. I'd spend the night, lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. Spend all night, losing sleep. I'd spend the night, lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. Spend all night, losing sleep. I'd spend the night, lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind.
Oh, so nice. Wow.
Thank you. I didn't feel as panicky during that one, in case listeners are wondering. We're gonna play one last song. This is called "Walking with a Ghost," and Ted is now putting his hair up in a ponytail and putting his ballroom gown on. So
We're all passing around the glockenspiel. It's like the most popular instrument right now at this session.
poor John, who's playing keyboard, he doesn't get to play the glockenspiel. And there's a lot of sadness in his eyes when we get it.
Thanks again very much for having us.
Yes,
Thank you.
No matter which way you go, no matter which way you stay, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind. I was walking with a ghost. I said, please, please
Tegan and Sara live on KEXP. Leaves me speechless. That sounded incredible. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Playing the Neptune tonight here in Seattle and coming back next year, hopefully.
We will, yeah. The record will be out in January and our single's out tomorrow, and we'll come back anytime.
Wonderful. We'll hold you to that. You're listening to KEXP Seattle.